About 30 years ago, I was born in that city of Jerusalem. And being there is totally different from any other country or city because it's a conflict zone. You know, we have too many people from different backgrounds, religions, way of thinking. So being there, I have learned how to deal with different kind of people. After I moved to Sweden, many friends were telling me, you know, you are going to face the same thing. You are going to deal with different types of people. They have different types of minds and they have different way of thinking and so on. I wasn't realizing that. I wasn't known at that time. As soon as I moved to Jönköping, they told me, you know, we call Jönköping in Sweden, Jerusalem of Sweden, right? And I couldn't realize this yet. Can you move to this? Until one moment before 4 years, you know, the situation in the Middle East became very hot. And thousands of immigrants and asylum seekers, they moved to Sweden. At that moment, I said, now I can feel what I used to feel in Jerusalem. And 7 months ago, I came to an article online. They were using this flag, you know, and they were talking about immigrants. They are unable to integrate, they are unable to work in universities, they are unable to find jobs and so on. And I spoke to many people. I can speak Arabic, it's my native language. I speak to many, they were sending me emails, Facebook messages and so on. I have a Facebook page on my name where I have about 100,000 people. They follow me, they read my stories and so on, so they trust me in a way. So I realized there is something that I can do. So I have worked in academia and I have started many companies in Sweden, small and big. And I realized that why I don't help those people to integrate in Sweden, something that the government couldn't do. And at the same time, I can make some money. So I started a company in January this year. And the main aim with that company is to target about 800,000 speakers of Arabic who live in Sweden and try to train them and help them integrate in the society, get to universities, start their business, and find jobs. And everything was very fine because 2 months before this, I did a study. I'm trained as online marketing, so I can reach you. I know how to reach you. So before I started the company in 2 months, more than 5,000 people, they registered to an idea and they told me, we want this. And after this, you know, it didn't work. The first service of that company was a conference in Stockholm and in Malmö. We want to target 4,000 Arab speakers in the country. We have 20 key speakers who are going to share their success stories, their ideas, how to get you in academia, how to get you into business, how to let you find jobs and so on. And we were asking for 200 Swedish krona as fee for that conference. It's very cheap. But after 7 months of working with this services and company and producing really great speakers and so on, nobody signed up. I'm telling you, on Facebook, on social media, I was getting thousands of messages. We are looking forward to having the conference soon. But as soon as it comes to action, nobody wanted to come. Can you? So, you know, I felt like this guy. I have many things to do. If you go to my company website, that I changed the name now, you will find that I have about 15 people who work with me. And those people are professionals. They're academics, professors, businessmen, great employees in great companies in Sweden. And we all feel the same because we put the energy in 7 months where we found out that this is not working. And for me, for myself, I actually felt exactly as, you know, losing a dream because I was dreaming this every day. I knew because I have 2 legs, one in academia and one business. I knew if I took to anybody of those people. I'm talking about 800,000. If I talk to anybody, I can lead them to something good. But I failed. So one of the things I would like to share with you today is that try to find out and focus with those people who you're trying to target. I was targeting everybody. I was trying to get people who wanted to get jobs. I was trying to get people who wanted to get to academia, those who wanted to start business, those who wanted to integrate. And maybe it's a big dream. And one guy told me once, this is a country project. It's not an individual project. You can't do this. And I said, I would try. Let's try. I have thousands of people who support me. They tell me this every day in emails and messages. They call me. So one of the things is that try to focus here and try to find out one specific group that you can sell to and they are able to buy your services. The second issue I would like to share with you is try to get to the one who decide. I realized that the targeted group that I'm trying to target, they don't decide. Because those people, they rely on other agencies, like, for example, Arbetsförmedlingen. Because they think they have to go there every time they need something. And one thing I failed in, I didn't target Arbetsförmedlingen. I didn't target others. I was targeting individuals who once were telling me they don't have the money, I'm talking about very few money, to come to the conference. And if they would have the money, they would come. And I couldn't find out if this was real or not. So try to go directly to the one who decides, the one who takes the decision, because it's not those individuals. If you are selling to a small kid, it's not the small kid who decides if he or she wants to buy the service, right? It's the father, it's the mother. Try to convince them first, then you can convince the small kids. I'm not trying to compare two situations, but I didn't realize that I have to go to the big guys in the market first in order to convince those people to come to my first service, which was a conference. And what I did, after 1 week, I was looking at all statistics. Nobody's signing up, just a few people are getting the tickets. And I went to Bolagsverket online website. I changed the company name. I hated the name. The name was something that every time I look at the name online, I feel sad. So I said, I have to change the name as soon as I can. I don't want to use this name again. So I changed the name. After that, I felt relaxed. And I said, I could think about it as I even didn't start a company. I have a new company now. And it has innovation in its name. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be more encouraging me to go on and never sit back and try to feel that I really failed. After. Last thing, I can tell you I put efforts of 7 months. I created 2 websites. I called 20 speakers. I convinced them to come. I used 7 months of my time. I didn't work in other tasks that I have to do, but because I wanted to concentrate on that project. So what I can tell you as an advice, if you failed in a project, try to use everything that left and never just put it out. Try to use it again. For example, the Facebook page. I have a Facebook page for that special project with 6,000 people. At the beginning, I started to think that I have to close that. I don't want to see it again. But I realized that, no, I still have connections with those people. They know about that story. I can use it for something else in the future. So last thing is try to use all resources that left from that project or any project that you have and use them in somewhere else. So that was number 4, right? But it's fine. So, my situation was when I was talking to those people before the company started, I was very happy because they were happy. And as soon as the company started and we start doing this marketing campaign to our conference and to our project, nobody wanted to come. And not only nobody wanted to come, the three types of people that were contacting us in our company, they were people who wanted to become keynote speakers. They want to speak at the conference. They don't want to sit and listen to others. Other people who want to be volunteers. They want to come there for free and to help us. And last people, it's those people who said, if you want to have a conference like this for this community, everyone from every Middle Eastern country has to be represented. And I said, why? I didn't realize this. People were saying that if there's no representation from their country, they will never come. Because they will feel that, there's no guy from that specific country, then the conference co-founders are, ignoring us, ignoring our community in Sweden, and so on. So I felt talking to two different communities. I was very happy before. After that is totally another people, even they are the same, but the way how they start talking, the way how they deal with me was totally different. So yeah, that's my last slide. So thank you so much for having me.